Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm so happy to have you on my channel, and honestly I feel like I need this video just as much as maybe y'all do at this point, because I've been like so stressed lately, and I came back off my trip like so ready for my New Year's goals and to really like bust it and just make my goals happen for myself and like keep pushing. And then I kind of hit this wall with a lot of stuff that's going on right now, and it has made it like really mentally difficult to just stay on the track that I had like previously thought out for myself for the beginning of this year. And I haven't veered from it. I've still been doing my training. I've still been being really consistent with my calorie and protein intake. I've been being really consistent about my goals, but it has been a lot harder than normal. So I just want you to know that like it's really normal to go through that, and it's not always going to be easy in life. I'm literally making this Ninja Creamy because I needed some extra protein, but like I need to find a way to like comfort myself right now, and this is one of the ways that I do that within my calories without feeling like I'm sacrificing my goals. So I'm eating this in the middle of the freaking day. But anyways, I honestly have been getting so many questions about like what maintenance looks like for me and maintaining my weight. And I know that one of the biggest things that people struggle with when it comes to their fitness journey is maintaining their results after they achieve them, right? Because you're either super strict and you feel like once you finally get to maintenance or you get to relax a little bit, it all goes downhill, and it's just a constant cycle of like having to strive towards a goal. Or people do really well whenever they have a goal, but whenever they're in maintenance, since they're not shooting for anything and they're more so shooting to just maintain, they stress out because it's like, okay, and this is very much me. I'm a very goal-oriented person. It's very validating, obviously, when you're in a calorie deficit, to continually watch like the scale number fall, or watch your body fat percentage fall, or watch your inches fall, see changes with getting leaner. But when you're in maintenance, you don't have that. And so it can be harder to remember the why behind things when you're not constantly being reminded of the payoff that you're getting from your actions, right? So I thought it would be really helpful. I made a TikTok on this too that I'm going to post today, but I thought it'd be really helpful to kind of give you a deep dive into what I do, how I handle maintaining my weight loss, and how my clients also handle maintaining their weight loss. And it's different for everyone. Not everybody obviously has the same lifestyle, but when you learn the foundational tools that you need to lose weight, those can easily be shifted into you being successful with maintaining weight too. So I'm going to talk you through basically what I do on a day-to-day when I'm in maintenance, and just the strategies that I use, so that maybe if you're in a weight loss journey right now and you're nervous about maintenance, or if you're trying to maintain currently and you're finding it a little bit more difficult, this may help. Tomorrow, I'm gonna film and take you through and put in this video a full day of what I eat to maintain my weight loss, so y'all can see like the quality of food I focus on, the why behind my nutrition whenever I'm not in a calorie deficit, and you know, just show you a little bit in real time around how I balance and how I really include things that I love, how I stay full and satisfied, how I don't let weight loss or the fear of gaining weight like take over my whole life, because that's also something that's really scary when you come out of a calorie deficit. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And I'm also at the end of this video going to talk you through like my new goals, the ones I've set for 2025 that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, the things I want to achieve now that I am more focused on just like maintaining my results with my body weight after I did do a cut last year, what my performance goals are, how I'm training for them, my New Year's resolutions per se, and like all the things that I'm setting forth to accomplish in 2025. It's a pretty extensive plan, so I'm excited to talk y'all through it, because I really am like, even though this past week has been like so emotionally draining and hard, I really am like super motivated to really keep progressing and hit these new goals that I've set for myself. I'm trying to take enough bites of my Ninja Creamy in between these sentences so this doesn't melt. Basically, when you're in a calorie deficit to lose weight, right, you're intentionally restricting energy sources from your body so that it pulls from fat for energy to burn fat. After that, when you're in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, right, say you've been eating at 1500 calories and that's putting you in a 500 calorie deficit per day to lose fat. Say after doing that for an extended period of time, you hit your goal weight and you're like, okay, what do I do from here? I recently went through this exact process that I'm about to talk you through. I guess it wasn't recently, it was last year. I started last February on my cut, lost about 17 pounds, was really happy, and then shifted into maintenance into like a little reverse diet, right, through the winter, and then got to maintenance and have been maintaining ever since. I want to talk you through reverse dieting. I know reverse dieting is sometimes a foreign concept to people, and the biggest thing you need to know with reverse dieting on like a really simple level is basically when you're in a calorie deficit and you're lower on calories than what your body essentially needs to maintain its weight, you don't want to just go straight back to eating a normal maintenance calorie intake, only because one, it can be hard for people to see like the changes that happen so rapidly in their body if they jump straight back up to maintenance calories, and two, I just think it's very essential for mindset and shifting into things slowly so that you can maintain them. It's easy to get really discouraged if you take drastic steps after calorie deficit to just shoot your calories back up to your maintenance calories, because your weight is going to fluctuate and you probably are going to see scale weight fluctuations, you're going to see increases, you're probably going to stress out. It's just a lot easier for your mindset and your consistency, in my opinion, to do it in a really, really slow, flexible way. So just so you have an idea of what a reverse diet looks like, I'm going to talk you through kind of what me and my client Emma did. She is still technically at the very end of her reverse diet, so we're pretty much almost to her maintenance calories. So she started out with me at like 142 pounds, lost 21 pounds, and hit a low of 121 and wanted to reverse diet back up so that she could start working on muscle gain. Basically, our biggest goal is mitigate fat loss while we increase our calories, make sure she's staying as lean as possible in the process, but also getting her back up to the caloric intake where she can maintain her weight and not be in a deficit so that she can actually put on muscle. You can put on muscle in a deficit if you're, you know, closer to a beginner, but the longer you weight lift, the harder it is. And obviously muscle gain is going to happen at a more efficient rate whenever you are in a calorie surplus, because your body has plenty of energy to build muscle, which is what it needs. So we started her out, her deficit was around 1,350 calories. When we started her reverse diet, each week we got her body weight every single day. We tested her data. We saw how her body was reacting to a specific calorie intake, right? So we started her off like at a small slight increase to like 1,400. Then once we ran that number for a week, she was eating at that consistently, then, you know, we would increase that. I'll obviously make those decisions for her around how small or how large of an increase that we need to make depending on what our life's looking like that point, what our consistency is gonna look like that week, which her consistency is amazing, but how her body is reacting, how her scale weight is changing, like seeing all of the data, I'm able to kind of assess and be like, okay, this is the next step that we need to take, right? So every single time that she weighs in, at the end of every week, we collect her average weigh-in and we're able to see really where she's at, how that week of a calorie intake impacted her body. Now, at the very beginning, whenever we started slowly increasing her calories, her weight slowly increased a tiny bit. She fluctuated up on the scale, but it wasn't anything she was nervous about because she knew that it was just water weight fluctuations, because at the beginning of a reverse diet, you're still in a really deep deficit. After that, fast forward past, like, it's been like 8 weeks, I think, of us reverse dieting together, and she's at around 1,850 calories is where we just bumped her calories to this week. And literally yesterday texted me that she was at an all-time low on the scale at 120.4. So during that reverse diet process, it allowed her to stay really consistent because she wasn't making too big of changes at once. She wasn't having to eat a ton more. She gave her body time to adapt to, like, obviously us trying to have a little bit of a higher protein intake within her calories. She was able to adjust to the volume and eating a lot more so that she wasn't feeling like she was like stuffing her face with food all the time, because when you start eating 500 calories more than your deficit, like that's a lot more than you're used to. But what that transition was even more beneficial for was her mindset and consistency, because even along that process, like there were times where she was reaching out to me and she was like, hey Kelly, I'm feeling a little bit uneasy about this. Like, I'm feeling nervous that, you know, I'm not looking as lean or I'm not feeling as good. Yes, in the process, you're gonna have that. We all have that no matter what our goals are, right? No matter if we're in a deficit, we have those days. But even with us increasing her calorie intake and her adapting to it slowly, she still had some of those thoughts, right? And some of that just uneasiness about the process a couple of times along the way. And it's so normal. Imagine how that would have felt if we would have straight increased her calories 500 plus over what she was eating. Her body would have reacted a little bit more intensely and quickly, and that probably would have really scared her out of the consistency of the process and been like, no, I need to go back into a deficit because I don't want to gain fat, right? So it promotes consistency and being solid and comfortable in your mindset and your results, because it's slow changes over time. Then once you get to that point where you're seeing your body weight maintain, and you're noticing that like week to week your body weight isn't changing as you continually increase your calories. Once you get to around like, 500, 600 over your deficit number, that should be pretty well aligned with what your body needs to maintain if you were in a 500 calorie deficit and losing like a pound per week. Emma is still hitting lows while we're 500 calories over what she started at as far as her calorie intake goes, so we're gonna push her up a little bit more, maybe even closer to the 2,000 mark. But basically, once you start seeing that you're maintaining your weight successfully at a certain calorie number, that's where you need to continue eating. And I definitely would suggest, what I did after my reverse diet is eat for at least 4 weeks at that maintenance calorie intake, where you're still tracking really specifically the majority of the time. You're still tracking your foods out. Yes, you can have a little bit more flexibility with going out to restaurants more and maybe not eating so perfectly at home with every gram tracked on the scale. But it is really beneficial whenever you can get a really good feel of what eating at maintenance looks like when you're tracking everything. Because when you do that, if you're somebody who wants to shift into intuitive eating after you get to your maintenance and you don't want to track your calories forever, you need to have like some sort of idea and tangible experience of what it feels like to eat at that calorie number, because you probably know what it feels like to eat at a deficit, right? When you've been eating at a deficit for so long, you could probably go a whole day and eat in a deficit based on just how you feel and based on your knowledge of the things that you have been eating and the amounts you normally put on your plate. You need to be able to do that in maintenance too. When you have that knowledge and that experience, it's just so much easier to lean on your own understanding and be confident in the decisions that you're making if you are wanting to intuitively eat. In my opinion, I track pretty much every day just because it's very, very easy for me. It's something that I love to do, and I feel more in control of what's going into my body, more in control of my results with no question about what's gonna happen, because it's very predictable. When I'm in maintenance, after I reverse diet and I get to the point where I know where my calories are sitting with maintenance and I track there, I love taking the strategy of eating in a slight deficit throughout the week and then giving myself more caloric room on the weekends. So what that might look like for me is, with my maintenance, you know, being around like 2,000 calories, that means I'm intaking 14,000 calories, you know, on average across the week. So I can kind of split those calories up however I want across the week, because that's putting my body in a maintenance calorie intake on average. So sometimes what I'll do per se is like eat around like the 1700 mark, like in a slight deficit across the week, like Monday through Thursday, and that would put me at intaking around like 6,800 calories across those 4 days. So then that means I have around like 7,200 calories left across 3 days over the weekend. And what that means is that I can eat around 2,400 calories every day across the weekend and still be at a maintenance, whereas eating 2,400 calories on the weekends would normally put me into a surplus. Would put me to where, you know, I was probably gaining weight if I was eating at maintenance every other day of the week. And because I have a really good routine where, you know, I've maintained all the healthy eating habits that I've like built up over time with eating whole foods and finding low calorie alternatives and making my food at home and finding meals that are really high volume and keep me satisfied. Like, it's easy for me to eat at like 1,700 calories every day while feeling full and satisfied and not feeling like I'm restricting myself. Now, when there are more opportunities to go out or drink with my friends or travel or just, you know, creating memories, holidays, whatever it looks like, when there are more opportunities for that, it's so nice to have the flexibility for me to be able to go up to that like 2,400 calorie intake. Or it's even easier for me to say go on a weekend trip and not track the whole time and know that I'm still gonna be in a maintenance because I prepped around, you know, in a slight deficit those 4 days before. So just because I ate a little bit less, it gave me more flexibility to eat more like calorically dense foods on the weekends if I'm, say, going to Chicago like I did 2 weeks ago and wanted to like really experience it and go to the bakeries and go to Starbucks and go out to eat nice dinners with my husband and be able to get multiple cocktails without feeling like concerned about it. And that is my preference on how to do maintenance, because it just gives me so much more flexibility. So I usually do just normally eat in a slight deficit throughout the week when I'm at home, because it's just so simple for me to be able to eat really healthy whole foods and be in a deficit without much work whenever I'm at home. That gives me so much more flexibility to have a lot of fun and not worry about calories and do things that I want on the weekends and have more balance with my life. So when I do that, basically what that looks like is post weekend, I usually always am up on the scale 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds on that Monday. And that's not something that ever scares me, because across the week as I'm eating in my normal routine again, I just watch that scale weight fall. And then by the time I get back to Friday, where I'm eating a little bit higher calorie, my body's back down to my maintenance weight that I want to maintain at. And so I'm kind of maintaining in a range of like 2.5 to 3 pounds. Now, if I were to see that number consistently increase over time, like week to week, I'm seeing that, okay, now on a Monday, I'm not weighing in at 128, I'm weighing in at 128.5, and then 129, and then 130. When you see trends like that over time, that tells you like, okay, I have been putting my body in a calorie surplus, so let me scale it back a little bit if I want to maintain at that lower weight that I was at. But as long as you're staying conscious about your scale weight and you're still tracking your data, you can catch those trends early, and it's not something where you feel like you have to do all this work to dig yourself out of this hole that you created because you were out of sight, out of mind about how your habits were affecting your body. So as long as you're staying conscious about that stuff, it's really easy to catch it. And like, okay, if I was up a couple pounds trending over time, then maybe I run 2 weeks of a deficit, get back down to the weight I'm comfortable and want to maintain at, and then ta-da, repeat. So that's just my advice to you, is like, I think it is so important to maintain all the habits that you built in a deficit, like your activity levels, like walking, like eating really high protein, high volume, nutrient dense foods, having a good basis of vegetables and lean meats and fruits in your diet, having good low calorie alternative recipes that you turn to. All those things are gonna be so helpful and just make it so much easier on you to maintain your weight if you continue them, and then add on a little bit of extra flexibility that maybe you wouldn't have had in a deficit while you were losing weight. And then you maintain and you don't get scared about losing all of your progress because you built all the tools and habits that you need to be able to stay that weight forever and stay confident in that. Not to mention, after you've learned all the tools of how your body does release fat, and you also learn the flip side of what it takes for you to gain actual fat and not just water weight and stuff on the scale, that's how you know that you can feel confident that your habits aren't putting your body at a state where it is, you know, in an extreme surplus. Okay, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any specific questions around just like maintaining weight loss in general. The next part of this video is really gonna help you with seeing kind of how I eat on a normal day-to-day basis to maintain my weight as well after I've lost 30 pounds and got lean and I'm super confident. So yeah, make sure you stick around for that. I'll see y'all soon. Hi guys, good morning. Okay, it's the next day where I'm taking you through our entire full day of eating. Basically, just to give you a little bit of insight, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Normally I have breakfast already and I normally eat breakfast around like 8:30, but I had a call this morning at that time and was a little bit late, so I'm having to push it off. No big deal though, we're still on track. This morning I did go to the gym and hit a leg day and did some cardio. So before I went to the gym, I did have one piece of keto royo bread with just some spray butter. I didn't really have much of an appetite this morning. Normally on my lifting days especially, I do eat before, but my cardio days I normally do fasted unless it's like a long run and I'm doing it on Saturday. My shorter runs during the week, I normally do it fasted just because when I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm not like super hungry, but it is important to have fuel in your system, especially for lifting. So on my lifting days, I 100% usually eat some sort of something, right? So this morning my appetite was really low, but I was like, I'm gonna do it anyways because I know I need to have something. My body is gonna thank me, and it did because I had a great lift. Great leg day with 20 minutes on the stairs afterwards. So like I said, I had my Alani. Before I went, I had one piece of bread with some spray butter, and then I also took my big water bottle full of electrolytes to the gym. I drink 2 of these per day. I know that sounds a little bit excessive, but hydration, I feel so much better when I'm hydrated, and electrolytes are key for me. They make a huge difference. Like, I literally live and die by them. I usually drink the Element ones, so I had 1 packet of the Watermet Element ones before my workout. I'm trying out the First Form lemonade ones right now. They're okay, I don't love them as much. The Element ones are just literally life-changing, but this is good enough to keep me hydrated. So I'm having another full bottle of this, and now we're gonna make breakfast. So let me take you through what I'm making. Excuse the angle, I know this is not the best view. My counters are so awkwardly low, so we're having to make it work. We're gonna make a apple with some yogurt dip this morning. I've been obsessed with lately. This one keeps me so full because of course we have like all the necessary things. It's really high protein, high volume, and has great fiber. Plus some whole foods in it, which is never a bad thing. Okay, first essential ingredient is always our foliar. I'm doing 200 grams of this. Normally if I do like a regular yogurt bowl and no fruit, I'll do 300, but I don't need as much volume and I have a whole apple on it too, because then I'm so full I can't finish it. So we're gonna do 200 grams total, and then we're gonna throw in some Legion protein powder. I've been using the oatmeal cream pie one in my yogurt bowls lately, and this one is really good. I haven't had a protein shake with it by itself yet, but in my yogurt bowls it is doing the trick. So I'm going to do 10 grams of this. Perfect. Okay, and then the texture key for your yogurt bowls is putting like as many powder products as you want in them. So I'm gonna do 5 packets of Splenda in this as well. Also, it does need a little bit more sweetness because obviously like normal Greek yogurt is like super sour, right? So we have to definitely spice it up a little bit to make sure it tastes good. That's what all these ingredients are for. So I just mix this all up. And for, like, I kid you not, you guys, this breakfast will absolutely keep me full until like 2 p.m. Okay, after we mix that up, we're gonna top it with some of our toppings. The first one we're gonna do is some twisted dough. While my twisted dough heats up so I can drizzle over the top, I am gonna take my Legion Phoenix Fat Burner. This is a supplement that I pretty much take every day. It's so good for regulating my appetite. So if you're trying to stick to a calorie deficit, I just think it's really beneficial, honestly. I always also take this with food too. And everything I'm using, Legion and twisted dough as well, which we're about to drizzle over our yogurt bowl. This is like a protein cookie dough that I eat 24/7. It's 10 grams of protein per serving. All of these products, you can use my code KSTORY for money off. It's literally just KSTORY at checkout. So what we're gonna do for this is drizzle about 1 serving over the top. So that is gonna be 30 grams. So I literally just get it to a drizzle consistency so I can like put it over the top like this. This also really helps with keeping me fuller for longer too because it's so high protein. Okay, I think I probably got closer to like 31 grams there, but so it looks like this once we have the chocolate on top. Then My favorite ingredients put on top is Barnum's animal crackers. This gives it the perfect texture. I just do 3 of these. It took me forever to go through a bag because this is like all I use them for. So I just crack them over the top like this. One big thing I've been incorporating a lot more, like y'all have been noticing that I've been being really intentional about incorporating as many whole foods as possible into my diet lately. Obviously there are so many reasons for that. I think my approach has been so successful because instead of like taking away things that have worked so well for me that I've loved within my calories and macros, I've just been adding to it. Whereas I would normally just have my yogurt bowl like this, I would make like a bigger serving of it. I shrunk the serving and made it into an apple dip so I can add a whole apple to it and still be around the same calories and still keeps me just as full. So next thing we're gonna do is add on some sugar-free maple syrup. This makes everything better. Just a little drizzle. And then we have to cut up our apple to make this a full plate. I literally made a TikTok about this the other day and said my 2 cents that I think Honeycrisp apples are the best apples to ever exist. And honestly, I got so much support on that statement. I like to weigh these out in ounces, 7.8. And then we're just gonna slice our apple up. Another thing I also like to do a lot of times is just sprinkle cinnamon over my apple. You totally can if you want to. And I like small slices. I'm so particular. And now once we get that all sliced up, here's our final breakfast. The fiber and protein in this is insane. It keeps me full for so long. It tastes immaculate. So whole foods check, protein check. This has so much protein in it. So I just dip my apple in it like that. Y'all look how good that looks. And enjoy. This is insane, but camera's about to die, but I'm gonna eat this. Of course, I'll be back for lunch and I'll let y'all know if there's any snacks in between. Hi guys, we are back with lunchtime. Literally one of my favorite things to do. I know if you've probably seen my TikTok, you've seen me do this a lot. But I'm obsessed with adding whole foods or just random assortments of foods to a plate. I always do like fruits, vegetables, and a protein source with like some condiments. And it is the best lunch ever. It's so filling. Look at how much color this plate has. We have pineapple and strawberries for our fruits today. Normally I tend to do like 2 fruits, one always a berry because they're lower calorie. And then I always pretty much do bell pepper because it's my favorite vegetable. I switch up the vegetables a lot, but I always try to have 2 vegetables. So I also have green beans. I just steam these in the microwave really quick. And then I always have like a protein source and some condiments. A lot of times I'll do like a yogurt dip in the middle because that's even higher protein. But right now these are real good chicken tenders tossed in barbecue sauce, and I have some ranch to dip them in, and I also dip my little green beans in ranch too. So it's freaking delish. And like I said earlier, I knew that bowl that I had would keep me full until literally 2 or 3. It's 2:15 right now when we're having lunch, so perfect timing. And I know this also, look how much volume this is. Like for, let me see how many calories this is, hold on. Quite literally total, this is 415 calories. Like it is gonna keep me so full for so long. I just prefer having like, not, this isn't high calorie, like this is considered low calorie, but I prefer like having 4 meals that split my calories up rather equally across the day than having like 2 really big meals or like 6 super small tiny meals. Because I get full and satisfied, it holds me over for a long period of time. And I don't need like a lot of snacks in between because I'm so satisfied from it. That's just my preference. You obviously can work your calories into your day in any way that you want, but this really, really helps me stay consistent. So this is gonna be lunch. I'm gonna put some Splenda on my strawberries and fruit as well. I always do that. And then for dinner, I'm planning on having like a big high volume cauliflower rice bowl. I make these all the time too. We're doing like a different little shrimp version tonight, which I'm really excited about. This overall is gonna be like one of my most perfect ideal days of eating. So I'm really glad that I got to capture it on camera for y'all. Once I get done eating this, then we'll be pretty much held over until dinner. I have my calories pre-tracked in for a hot chocolate for dessert, like a protein hot chocolate, which is my absolute favorite. Not me out here telling y'all I'm not gonna eat a snack in between lunch and dinner and then go into a snack immediately between lunch and dinner. I'm just having 1 serving of my brookie twisted dough. I might have 2, kind of just depends. Actually, I'll probably have 2. You can use code KSTORY for money off this too if you want to go get it. But this for real is my just like go-to on really just curing my sweet tooth or needing a little snack throughout the day but not being super hungry and just kind of being bored hungry, if that makes sense. And this literally does it every time and satisfies my craving every single time. Okay, hi my best friends, we are back for dinner. Vibes for dinner tonight are freaking good cauliflower rice bowl I'm about to make. It's gonna be so high volume. So I'm gonna walk you through how I make it because it takes literally 5 seconds. I'm gonna start out with some shrimp. This is already cooked frozen shrimp. I'm gonna do 100 calories worth of this, which is 8 shrimp. So I'm just starting out by de-thawing these. I really just de-thaw them by rinsing them underwater. So I kind of just let those set and I switch out the water every now and then. But while that is de-thawing, I'm putting my cauliflower rice in the microwave First, I'll steam this before I put it on a pan, but we're just gonna cook this for 5 minutes in the microwave. Now we're just gonna heat up our pan, get everything ready. I use just regular like canola oil, honestly, on my pans, and I just like do as little as possible. It's honestly annoying how many calories are in spray oils like that, so I try to mitigate it. Another ingredient we're gonna do is bell peppers. These, I've had them cooked, so I'm just gonna throw them in the pan whenever my cauliflower rice gets done. But normally I would just chop up a bell pepper and throw it in the pan too, but I'm just gonna put these on here. 6 ounces of bell pepper, I think. 4 ounces maybe of bell pepper. Okay, fast forward, we have our shrimp de-thawed. I'm just throwing, oop, I gotta take the tails off before I put them on the pan. While I take these tails off, let's have a conversation, because y'all know what is so annoying? Because I was literally, this was just happening to me. Today I have like not had an appetite or a craving for literally anything. Like, I always crave my breakfast, like my yogurt bowl, but after that I'm just like, what do I even want to eat? And then nothing sounds good, and then I get pissed because I'm like, why is nothing sounding good? I was just having this dilemma with dinner because I was really honestly craving my Ninja, or I wasn't craving it, but I was like trying to debate if I wanted to make this shrimp bowl or eat my Ninja Creamy, right? Because I have a Ninja Creamy prepped in the thing and I don't have enough calories for both, so I'm kind of having to choose. And I was like, okay, I can either have that for dinner, and then if I need a snack after dinner, I can have it, or I can do this cauliflower rice dinner and then do like my protein hot chocolate, which is the decision I ended up making. However, I like literally wasn't, like nothing sounded good, because the last 2 days I have made my freaking Ninja Creamy, I swear to God, it has not been good. Like, it has been so subpar and it's not mixing up well, and I'm so confused because I haven't changed anything that I've done with it. And the most annoying thing ever, especially, which I'm not in a deficit right now, but the most annoying thing ever, especially whenever you're in a deficit, is when your food isn't hitting. Because it's like, okay, literally I have a limited amount of calories for today. Okay, pause. We have shrimp and bell peppers on here. I'm just putting this over heat now, and I'm gonna season it a little bit. I've been loving the garlic parm and the buttery steakhouse seasonings from Kinder's. Kinder's seasonings are just like literally freaking elite. So that's what we're doing on here. I smother everything in the most seasoning that I can because I want it to taste so good. Anyways, back to the story. Like, it literally gets me like honestly so angry whenever things aren't hitting, because I'm like, okay, I have so many calories. I'm gonna attempt this meal and I'm gonna put effort into making a meal, and then I'm gonna waste 500 calories on not even being satisfied with said meal. So I think it's so frustrating. Like, I would honestly rather have like a little bit more of an appetite, you know, and feel like a little bit hungry, but my meals like hit the freaking spot, instead of getting to the point where you're making meals and you're like, wow, this isn't even doing what, like it's not getting what it's supposed to get. So I got the cauliflower rice out of the microwave. Now everything is just on a pan together, and honestly just put it over high heat and let it simmer all together while the shrimp cooks. And honestly, goal here is to get the cauliflower rice like a little bit crispy. That's why I put it on the pan, because I steam it first and then I put it on the pan and kind of want to get it more of a consistency of like not so mushy, because I hate steamed cauliflower rice. It literally tastes like wet. So now that's gonna be getting really steamy here. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out my toppings. We're doing fat-free mozzarella and then salsa. Okay, so we've got our toppings in here, just salsa and some cheese, and now our cauliflower rice bowl is pretty much done. She is hot and steamy, so I'm just going to transfer it into this bowl over here. And we're just gonna mix all this up. This is so much volume, you guys, it's insane. Honestly, like, I get complaints from my clients that they can't finish it, which I'm like, what are y'all complaining about? That's a good problem. I will absolutely always be a volume eater girly. I just don't understand the portion control girlies when you can eat this and get the same impact. Okay, let me mix it up and show you. Look how big this bowl is, like, in comparison to my head, hello. So now I'll just mix it all up. I might top it with some fat-free ranch, just depending on how much this salsa actually does. But as you mix it up, the fat-free cheese is gonna melt on it too. Okay, let's try it, and then I'll let y'all know if we need a little drizzle of ranch. Nah. That is perfect, just the way it is. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. We eat this for dinner. I'll let y'all know where we're at as far as maybe having a protein hot chocolate for dessert once I get done with this, if I still want it later in the night. Okay guys, and I did end up making some sugar-free hot chocolate to end my night off with some protein in it. I have this recipe and how I make this like up in another YouTube video. If you scroll not that far back, it's literally in like the title of the video. But this is basically the last thing I'm gonna have tonight. Oh my gosh, it's so good with the Legion S'mores protein powder. It hits so different. And I love sipping on this in bed because it's just so cozy. I hope you enjoyed that full day of eating. I hope it was really insightful and kind of helped you gather an idea of what it looks like to like really stay full and satisfied within a calorie intake that is right for your body and can keep you maintaining the body that you love and you feel good in. A lot of those strategies are exactly what I use in a deficit. I just eat a little bit more food now, calorie wise, and my weekends look a lot more flexible as far as maybe I'm not as consistent with tracking everything perfectly on the weekends, and I more so give myself room, you know, like I said earlier, to go out and drink or get cocktails with my husband or have a little bit of his ice cream that's untracked and eat multiple meals out in a day, cook things, get bagels with my mom. Like, they're just things, little things that I'm a lot more locked in with in a deficit than I am right now when I'm in maintenance. But my routine as far as weekly, like my normal routine stays generally the same. It's just a little bit of a higher calorie intake, you know, Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. And then the weekends I give myself more flexibility, and that's how it really works out well for me as far as maintenance goes. Just because you get to a weight where you want to be at doesn't mean that you can't keep setting new goals for yourself to improve, because there's always areas that we can improve in, right? Whether that be mental, whether that be physical, whether that be confidence in yourself, whether that be performance goals. There's so many things that you can push yourself to keep striving towards, and there never has to be just a stopping point. You can take breaks in the middle. There can be a stopping point if you want it, but if you're somebody like me who's really goal oriented, you can always set new metrics for yourself for success and keep raising that bar and that standard. But yeah, thanks for coming to my YouTube channel and watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you keep following along for all of my content. I'm linking my coaching application below for my permanent weight loss coaching program. That is where I work directly with my clients to help them hit their goal weight, build a really sustainable routine full of habits that fit into their lifestyle realistically so they aren't overwhelmed, and do it in a way where I teach them how to maintain their weight and their success and their confidence long term. If you're interested about that, you can go apply through the link below, and I will absolutely reach out to you and we can talk more about the details and how we can get you started, or if it's a great avenue for you to be able to reach your goals. And then I'm also going to link my other platforms below, so you can go give me a follow there. But make sure you subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out. And give it a thumbs up if you're feeling crazy. But yeah, I hope everyone's having an amazing week. Peace and love from this side of the internet. Bye, guys.